There's always a man, there's always a city, there's always a lighthouse.
Now would you kindly head to Ryan's office and kill the son of a...
Let's go out to play, Daddy.
Go back to the Sodom from which you came!
It's time to finish this.
Catch!
That'll do. Elizabeth!
All right, we are at San Diego Comic-Con. Scott Snyder, the writer of a few things, but we're going to talk a lot about All-Star Batman.
Let's do it.
So first question, because we don't have a lot of time, how is this going to be different from your previous Batman and the other current Batman books?
Well, it's very different. I mean, the way it came about, and it's great to talk to you again, dude. I've talked to this guy like every year for what, like 7 years now? Crazy.
Not long enough.
Not long enough, dude. But anyway, I was working on Batman with Greg, and I realized I still had some big villain stories I wanted to do, but I didn't want to do something that you guys would expect from me, where they're all in Gotham, and it's with one artist, and I get used to that artist like Jock. I wanted it to be like, okay, every story is a challenge. How do I do a villain in a way you've never seen before, in a story that's completely different than any kind of Batman story that you've read? And so the challenge was really just doing something that was like Tom King is just making faces at me over there. The best writer in comics right over there. I know, right? The challenge was really to do something that you've never seen in every villain and do them in a new way. So first up in the series is Two-Face with John Romita. Declan Shalvey and Jordy Belair do Zaz in the backups. And everything is sort of like Two-Face on the road, chained to Batman. Batman's trying to get him upstate, like 500 miles to give him a cure for being Two-Face. And along the way, Two-Face makes this terrible bet with the country. He releases this statement on the news that basically sets everyone after Batman. It's almost like everyone's trying to kill him. My favorite thing is, like, you open the book, and Batman, it's a diner, right? It's this beautiful diner, and the people are just having breakfast and joking around, and all of a sudden, Killer Moth and Firefly come crashing in with Batman, and everyone's terrified, and Killer Moth's like, "You tell us where he is," meaning Two-Face, or we'll kill everyone in here, and Batman's like, "Listen, look at me, people." He's like, "No one in here dies today," and then he winks, and it freezes on him, and it's like, Batman, most wanted man in the state, and it's like, that's the feel of it, where it's fun, it's high octane, but it's also a very personal story. Every one of them is like, Catwoman is in Savannah. They're all over they're like, it's all out of Gotham. But ultimately, like, this one is largely about, you know, whether our personal demons are more important to us than we like to think. Whether we are the sort of sum of our ugliest parts and the ugly side of our face and the wishes we want to make and coins we want to throw into fountains that we shouldn't, or whether we're better people than we think we are. And Batman's obviously betting on one side and Two-Face is betting on the other.
Now, when you look at the different arcs and a different artist, do you try to recruit a specific artist for, like, the story? Like, okay, I can't get them now, so I'm going to try to reschedule that story?
No, I've been working on this thing, honestly, because I thought maybe if Greg took a break, I started working on it a long time ago, almost a year plus before Greg left, as maybe something to do on the side with different artists. And then I realized, no, you know, when he wanted to leave, I was like, this is, when he takes a break, this is where I want to go. So it really became about more asking what to each artist, what's the character you've always wanted to draw? Mad Hatter? Okay, Paul Pope, is that what you want to do? Like, let's do it, you know? And I sold Romita, I was like, you know, Two-Face, he's kind of gritty, he's up your alley. And he's like, well, he's kind of clowny. And I'm like, not if we do him like this. And he's like, that's my guy, let's do it. Because I was like, Croc or this guy or what? And similarly, like, I was like, to Afua, who would you like? Or, you know, maybe Catwoman, maybe. And Tula was like, Poison Ivy is mine. I'm like, great, she just sent in her designs. So it's honestly about, and Jock was Mr. Freeze up and down. He's like, I want, like, the Arctic, just ice, and this figure emerges. It's great. It's like Mr. Freeze wants to open up the oldest ice core in the world. I'm just spoiling everything. The oldest ice core in the world and just poison the world. It's really fun. But everyone is kind of a slight reinvention of the villains in continuity. The designs are going to kind of become the designs for the DCU. So everything is, again, in continuity, and the backups all tell the story of Duke Thomas's ascension and a secret history sort of the Robins and the training they went through as he becomes kind of the hero he's going to be.
Can we expect any new gadgets or toys for Batman?
Yes, in fact, in the first issue you will see new gadgets. Like, he uses his cape in a new way in the first one, which is really fun, and in the second one he uses a Batarang where basically, I'm just going to spoil more. Killer Croc, he's fighting Killer Croc on a train, and Killer Croc's like, that little Batarang, you think that's going to do something to me? And Batman throws it, it's like, and spikes come out of it, and it's crazy violent. But It's only it's not violent like salacious, over-the-top violence. It's meant to be like the brutal reality of how ugly people can be behind closed doors. So that's kind of the theme that kind of runs through it. And so all the brutality and the violence is meant to sort of be surprising in certain ways and happen in very pastoral settings. And anyway, I love it.
Now, a tiny bit of art has been released, like some covers and that. It looks a little brighter, so is that something like throughout the arc with Two-Face, it's going to be brighter instead of like Batman at night?
Yeah, it's almost all in the day on the road. So the challenge was like, how do you make Batman look badass and the villains look scary in like cornfields, you know, in the middle of nowhere? And then you see John Romita's art and Danny Mickey's inks and Dean's colors, and it's just like, oh yeah, they're scary. It's awesome. One of the scenes is like Penguin at a gas station, and it's not funny. It's not like a cartoony series at all. It's really dark. But like at one point, Penguin is chasing them with the crime bosses, and they stop to talk on the road, and these guys make fun of Penguin, and he just does them in really bad. But it's fun. They're at a gas station. I won't give it away. But it really is. It's a brighter book. It's got like a very kinetic energy. It's cut, the way it's paced is cut very differently. It has mile markers as it kind of moves along there. It's really, I'm so proud of it, honestly. I would definitely put it up against anything I've done as one of the best stories. Like this, the first arc at least, and the second one, which I'm working on, up there with my best stuff, you know, I think. So I hope you guys agree.
Now, are you going with shorter arcs rather than, you know, like the year-long almost arcs?
Yes, there's no 24 issue arcs or anything. They're all pretty short. The longest two are about 4 to 5 issues. The Two-Face one and Sean Murphy's big finale, where it's a mystery villain that I don't want to give away. It's all actually one story when you kind of put it together in 3 parts, all leading up to. It's all called My Own Worst Enemy, and it leads up to someone pretty fun. So you'll see.
Have you shown any of it to Greg, and is he like...
Oh, yeah. I show everything to Greg, and he shows me all the Reborn stuff. Greg we were just texting the other day, and he was like, there's no bigger fan of Romita than Greg, and there's no bigger fan of Greg than Romita. They love each other, and so he was just like, I'm so glad. He thinks he's doing the work of his career. Romita is, and Greg's just killing it, by the way, on Reborn. You got to pick that up, the Mark Millar book. It's so good. And then we get back together. He's done in November, and we're starting something really crazy big for DC. So, unless you know, I hope so.
Now, are we going to be surprised with what you guys? I know you're not going to say anything about what it is, but is it going to be like a big shock to everyone?
Yeah, I think it will be. I mean, we're not coming back to do Batman. I'll tell you that. Like, 'cause that would just be, I feel like, almost too easy. We want to try new challenges. You know, like AD is a wild challenge for me. All-Star. How do you top yourself, or at least do work that's so different than what you've done that people think it's worth the same, you know, the same sort of scrutiny? Yeah, and so what we do when we come back will be really different but bigger, and yeah, intimidating. I'm nervous like talking about it, because I'm like, oh, it's gonna be a lot, but I love working with that dude. He's like a brother, and I can't wait.
Okay, so All-Star Batman starts in August, and it's obviously going to be new reader friendly.
Yeah.
People can just jump in. You know, obviously, if they know who Batman is, enjoy it, read
Batman
it.
is. You don't even have to know who he is. There's actually a caption that says Batman, most wanted man in the state. So you do not even have to know who Batman is. All the villains have caps. Like, it's super user friendly for new readers.
So buy it for your friends.
Buy it for your family.
For your mom.
Yeah. For me, for my kids, all of it. It'll be good. I promise. I appreciate it. Let me just say this. Like, we just got the sales, the official initial sales on the book, and I sincerely, all my joking aside, like, I never thought it was going to sell what it's selling already. And the fact that you guys have been that supportive of me and this book and experimenting and taking the Batmobile a little bit off-road, it just, you never cease to humble us, and we really, really cannot thank you enough. It's honestly, it's an honor, and it just means the world. I have the best fans in the world, like hands down best fans in the world on my kids' lives. Like, we love you guys so much.
All right, make sure you look for that All-Star Batman. It's gonna be awesome.
Thanks, dude.